Ladies and gents, welcome back to The Random. It's your host, Smallwood Worldwide. We're back again with another video, and today we're finally back from our summer vacation with our Takeoff Sports Talk segment. As you can see, show some love to the Goodman brothers. We got Aj, Greg, T. I'm Smallwood Worldwide. Let's get into it. Today, much like the title of our show, The Score, we're going to settle the score. Now, unless you've been under a rock, you had the opportunity to see Terrence Crawford, A.K.A. Bud, get out there and just beat the dog shit out of Spence. Okay? Errol Spence, who said he was going to be too big. Errol Spence, who said that, you know what, everything in Texas is bigger. Errol Spence, who said Bud hadn't fought anybody. Right? Errol Spence, who also underrated Crawford's skills. Gave him a half a point on something. Listen, fellas, anybody, somebody, please jump in. Much like I wanted them to throw in a towel in that fight. What are your thoughts on this beatdown? This fight.
I mean, let's just be honest, man. It was a drum solo. Like Crawford just beat the brakes off of it. It was a
drum line part two.
I have to sit back and think about where this ranks in the worst ass whippings that I've ever seen in my life on television. It was ugly. I mean, I expected Bud to win. I expected Bud to actually win in 8. I didn't expect it to be a landslide like this. It was ugly. Like Whoopi Goldberg's baby pictures. It was just
wow. Yeah, I didn't expect him. He was heavy bagging Spence at some points. I mean, Spence was coming back most of the fight, at least the parts that I saw. I didn't see it live. Shameless plug. I was indisposed at the moment when it was going on, but I was keeping up with it through others. And people should have known, like, if anybody knew like Bud's backstory, how his mom used to try to pay people to beat him up, and she never gave out $1. Like that should have told people what's going. Not to mention he's from Omaha, Nebraska. I've been to Nebraska. Like you're not beating anybody who's black and coming out of there. I'm gonna tell you that right now. This is not happening. But yeah, I mean, like he ragdolled him, man. He beat him down there. I tell you what I don't like, because there's a lot of Spence. I think there's people liked Spence more for whatever reason. And after the fight, they haven't been able to come to grips with the idea that Terrence Crawford is that much better of a fighter. I mean, like he's always been that much more skilled of a boxer. And Spence is kind of a action fighter, straightforward. He's a fighter more than he's a boxer. He can box, more of a fighter. Whereas Bud is just, he's a whatever you want. He's a Tekken character. And you want to do cartwheels and hit people? Like this is whatever, man. He was like an all state wrestler in Nebraska. Like, I mean, like,
yes.
What are you gonna do with this guy? Like nothing. So
and like I said, the shame of it now is like people are trying to disrespect Earl Spence now, like he's a bum.
Yeah,
like he was nothing. Earl Spence can fight. He just, like, there's levels to this. Earl Spence is a bad boy. He just ran into the wrong one.
I didn't like how people made excuses for it. I'm sorry, T.
No, you're good. He just made it look like he didn't belong in there with him.
Yes.
You know, I watched the fight, not real time. I watched it later, and I had the benefit, I'll say, of watching the fight from what looked like the perspective of somebody in the crowd that recorded it. So I didn't hear the commentary or anything like that. Let me tell y'all what I saw.
Oh,
it didn't look like Spence should have even been there with him. I mean, Spence is a great fighter, like Greg was saying. He really is. I didn't realize that he was I shouldn't say just, but he's an extremely gifted and skilled pressure fighter.
Right.
He couldn't exert any pressure on Bud because he's just too clever. He just ate him up. I mean, he just ate him up. All the concerns that I had going into the fight, every single one of them came to fruition, including, one of the things that I had said, and I heard, other pundits say it afterwards, is that, those car accidents, it was like, nobody exits those the same person as they were when they walked in.
Right.
Not that it would have made much difference, but
It wasn't.
When I thought about it afterwards, he was catching a whole lot of hits on his left side.
Yeah.
That's that. I mean, when Bud caught him a couple of times, he probably couldn't see anything because that's the eye that had that retinal tear or whatever, right? From the car accident.
Yeah.
So, I mean, not only was he outclassed and outmatched, but to not be able to see some of those shots coming, most likely, I got to give the man credit for having heart because he took a thump.
He does.
Yeah.
He got a
He
lot
took
of
a
heart.
beating unnecessarily.
Yeah.
I'll say this, right?
His corner should have thrown in the towel at least
Yes.
round 7.
Yeah.
Because the way the fight looked, it almost looked like Earl Spence had no film on Crawford. Like he had never seen Crawford fight before.
Ever.
It looked like he had no plan. But I'm
Let
sorry,
me tell
go
you.
ahead.
No, you're good. So I watched the fight live, right? And it was one of those things that I expected Bud to win later rounds because the one thing I noticed from all of Spence's fights, he gets touched. No matter who he fights, he gets touched up a lot.
Yeah, he's the action fighter. Yeah.
Right. And the one thing I noticed from Bud's fight is he delivers punishment. If you give him a chance to touch you, he's going to touch you. I did not, when I tell you that this was the pattern of the fight for me, a lot of people I know who watched it, but definitely just for my personal feelings, I'll speak on it. I'm excited at the first round. Ooh, second round knockdown. Good. Here we go. We're in the middle of the action. By the 5th round, I wanted him to stop the fight because he was getting his ass beat so bad. And I'm going to say this. Spencer is an incredible fighter. Definitely worthy of every accolade he'd ever earned. But there's levels to this. You know, boxing is not a popularity contest. And sometimes the better guy is not just better by a smidgen, but he's literally, or she, that much better. And it was not close. By the 7th round, my stomach started getting tight. You ever had like butterflies and knots before, like you were nervous? Mm-hmm. Like I felt bad for him. I hadn't felt that way in a long time. And I'm, you know, come from the era of like watching Tyson knock people out where it was exciting, but a knockout is one thing. Getting punished like that to the point where his face was just like red and you're seeing these blows and seeing like it looked like slow motion, but it was in real time. Like parts of his face over here and he's over here. And I'm saying it sounds like a joke, but this was really what was happening.
I'm not laughing at that. It's just that it reminded me of the Martin episode. Like I always thinking about that. Because he looked like he looked like the dude on the Wiz when they would unzip the mask or whatever.
Yes.
That's what he looked like. It was bad.
Listen, it was so bad that had anybody in my house been awake watching me watch that fight, they would have thought I thought somebody was getting killed. Like I was just walking around like, man, this is it was hard to watch.
Yeah. Huh? Yeah. At the end of that fight, it looked like Earl Spencer got caught trying to steal honey out of a jam and got attacked by bees. He was lumped up. He got lumped up.
I haven't seen a beatdown so one-sided between two guys who are highly touted. And I like Spence and Crawford. I had a hard time going into the fight being like, man, here's reason this one could win and that one could win. But in the end, common sense prevailed, but it wasn't enough. And I have to ask, like, do you think his trainers, did they not take Bud serious? Like, I think somebody mentioned that it seemed like they didn't have film on him. Like, he was getting beat.
That's what it looked like to me. It looked like he had never seen him fight.
Here's the thing that worried me when I watched like the Showtime, you know, when they did the whole playthrough. Yeah. I was worried when I saw, I think it was Earl Spence's trainer saying, skill is great, but the thing that will win you fights is the athleticism. And as a person who has attempted to box here and there, I can tell you right now, it's all about skill. Like boxing is all about skill. It's not about who's more. It helps to be athletic because you get the timing down quicker and you get this down quicker, that down quicker. You can put any athlete you want to in the world in there with some guy who is not any kind of athletic, but knows how to box, and he will ragdoll that dude. He will heavy bag him. It is not even going to be close. So
it's the reason why UFC fighters don't do well in boxing. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No. You're right. You're absolutely right. There's a couple of different reasons. One of which is stamina, but I don't want to get into that. We can get into that some other time. Yeah. They're not as well conditioned, and boxing is a different animal.
It's a different kind of in shape.
It's different. Yeah, it's different from anything. Like people like UFC, I understand use your whole body, but that's 15 minutes max. What is it? 25 minutes max? I don't know.
Yeah, 25 minutes total.
Yeah.
dude, Floyd doesn't break a sweat after 25 minutes. You know what I'm saying? And I said that to, go to everybody who knows. Anybody who boxes that you see on television can do that for 25 minutes without thinking about it.
With no problem.
Yeah.
Because in boxing, you can't stop moving.
No.
It's not an option. You're moving the entire time.
And your arms got to be up.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
your arms don't always 100% of the fight don't necessarily have to be up, but you definitely got to be moving.
Depending on who you fighting, man. Cats be taking, like, some of these knockouts from this last weekend. Cats walked out there with their hands at the waist, and it was like, oh, gloop. Oh, is that coming?
He said it was like,
I was like, yo, you tired, but you better stay in that corner till you ready to lift those hands up, because when they start flying, it's a wrap. But I don't know, man. I look at it like this. I too didn't like the excuses that were made for Spence. I think that, yes, I understand the car accident. I understand all the other stuff that happened with him that everybody was saying, to T's point, and that very well could play and factor into it. But at the end of the day, from what I saw, and I know at the end of the fight, he's like, yeah, run it back. He has a lot of heart, but it's not about heart at that point. I started thinking about this man's quality of life. That's how bad, because it's rare that you see a boxer just take that many headshots. Normally they'll go down, they don't get back up. Cool, knockout. It can happen. Flash knockout. It happens. He was just getting brutalized, and Bud just beat up. And Bud at one point, seeing it live, I don't know if y'all saw this when you did see the fight. It's like he took the foot off the gas a bit, just like, look, because he doesn't have dislike for him, It's
right,
just like
him. Yeah.
You gotta,
this ain't no personal grudge.
No, and this wasn't a personal grudge, and he did that to him. That's what I'm saying.
That's the thing about Bud, yo. If you let him, he'll kill you. He's like I'll never forget this, man. Like when they were talking about this guy used to train with Larry Holmes. He was like, yeah, Larry will kill you if you get a chance to. I was like, excuse me. But that's Blake Crawford, though. He'll kill you if you let it. If the referee lets it go, he'll keep hitting you until they stop it. That's just what it is.
Yeah, I said the last time I seen anyone beat like this was when Floyd Mayweather fought
Gotti.
Yeah. That's the only thing I can really compare this to. It just looked, he was outclassed.
It wasn't that bad. That was still worse.
This was worse, but I get the comparison.
Yeah, I think the Mayweather one was a little bit worse, but that's the only place I can go to with how lopsided the fight looked.
That Mayweather one, they must have had the mics like hanging down real low in the ring, because every one of those shots I could hear it just. Good.
Yeah, in that fight, it looked like Mayweather landed 90% of his punches.
Yeah, it was awful.
It was ugly. But yeah, I mean,
didn't Bud land over 50%? It was some crazy.
He sure did.
Power punches. 60% of his power punches, which is, I thought that was a misprint when I saw that somewhere. I was like, that's got to be a misprint.
So I thought they rushed it that night when they threw up the infographic. After the fight is over.
Yeah, I was like, I said 60%.
You know what, man? Spencer's corner should be investigated, man. Come on, 60% and the towel stayed in your hand. I mean, come on, man. You got to throw the towel.
Earl's got a lot of heart, man. Because real talk, he should have quit in the 5th.
Yeah, he didn't want the fight to be over when the ref called it off. No, he was like Bambi, and I was making this joke, but it was serious. Most of the fight is like. He was like a newborn giraffe trying to find his footing. And I'm like, man.
He had the jelly legs.
He's not there. Yeah. And you've never seen him like that in any fight.
Nope. It came down to this. Spence looked like he was willing to die. And Crawford looked like he was willing to kill.
There you go.
Because Spence wasn't going to give up. And Crawford wasn't going to give up either.
So let me ask this before we transition topics, right? If you're Errol Spence, his family, his corner, his trainer, everybody, down to the damn cut man, do you allow him to really take a rematch at this point in the next 5 or 6 months? Or does he need to take another fight?
Not in 5 or 6 months. A year? Maybe a year?
I would be
not 5 or 6 months.
I would be extraordinarily worried when they asked Bud after the fight. There was like, well, he said he wants to do it at 154. And he was like, "Yeah, cool." I was like, "Excuse me." if someone's reaction is, "Yeah, cool, whatever," after they just ragdolled you just before, it's like, yeah, I don't think you should do that. There was people who said that he should take another fight to get his confidence back and then take that fight. But honestly, this isn't
whatever he does, it needs to be a year from now. He don't need to fight no time soon.
I don't know how much money he made. Did he make money off the gate at that, TJ?
I think so, but
he don't need to fight again.
Yeah, no. I'm gonna say my feeling about it. The only way that he should get back in the ring, he's got to start completely over. New training staff, new. I mean, there's no point in getting in there if you're just gonna do the same stuff. Don't even bother. Just leave that man alone. Next time you get in the ring with him, I mean, what was this one? It was round 9 or?
Yep.
Yeah.
They stopped it at 9. The fight was over at round 5.
I'm thinking if they rematch and these guys going through, I'm thinking round 2.
And even at that weight, my concern for Spence, I think Crawford probably walks around heavier than the weight that they weigh him for the fight. So he's very comfortable making that weight that they're acting like is going to be a difference. And I'm like, I don't see it being different. I don't.
Yeah.
Not in positive fashion.
I think Crawford's, Crawford's walking around with is like 170, I think.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. Like 160 something, 170.
I'm just like, I don't see it. Like I expected it to be the war, but nope. It was just bad, you know. So
if he does the same thing only harder, he's just gonna get himself hurt.
That's it. And I don't think he knows how to fight any other way.
You got to get a new training staff or something.
And I don't think, I mean, it's just like he's gonna revert back to being Spence at some point, you know.
Yeah.
That's just that might work against everyone else, but it won't work against Crawford.
No.
Like the only way this works out is if Apollo Creed takes him out to California to train, teaches him all the shit he taught Rocky. That's the only way this shit may go different.
On your toes, on your toes.
Yeah, he got it. Yeah, he better be on the beach with some short shorts and some long socks, hoofing. That is the only way he gets back in this joint and really does what he's supposed to do. Besides that, I mean, he can take the fight again. I mean, it'll probably be a nice payday for him, and maybe he does better. Or perhaps if it gets ugly like it did last time, his corner throws in the towel early. And there'd be no shame in that. Nobody would blame him.
I like try to watch all fights, but I don't know if I'd even bother to try to watch that.
No, I would watch that fight on Twitter this time. That's how bad this was. I don't want to see that again. Like I like Crawford, I like Spence, and look, shout out to Crawford for putting on a world-class, all-time great performance. We look forward to seeing what you're going to do next. Errol Spence, keep your head up, your chin up. We look forward to your recovery and whatever you do next. Do it for you. Now, talking about
it off that whole fight.
Talking about settling the score, right? Now that we have that fight out the way, there's another fight out there that people have been kind of itching to see. We have Usyk, we have Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury kind of trash talked him to his face a little bit. Then he went and signed the fight with Francis Ngannou. Number one, if this fight does happen, how much of a chance do either of you give Usyk against Tyson Fury, who's been very dominant? Aj, what you think?
I'll give him 20 to 25%. Usyk is a very good fighter, but he was, I wouldn't say exposed, but he, for all intents and purposes, got help from the referee just in the fight he had against Dubois. James Dubois. And the referees, to be fair, the referees also played a role in Tyson Fury keeping his O as far as losses because he lost that first Wilder fight. To be fair, that was one of the worst refereed fights.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like he was down for like 15 seconds, but because the dude was walking around, you okay? Gave him extra time. It was bad. I mean, but Usyk is a very good fighter. But Tyson Fury is also a very good fighter. Not only is he a very good fighter, he's like a big, tall, rangy. He's a pugilist, pure pugilist, and it's just the only person who had a chance at beating him is the man with the hand of God himself, Deontay Wilder. And that's the only person who's ever really threatened him like that. Other than that, I mean, he's too shifty, he's too crafty. He probably would have been good in any era, but in this era where people are coming into boxing late and it's full of athletes as opposed to boxers, and he's a pure pugilist, he's gonna win every fight.
Indeed. T, what you got for us?
Honestly, Usyk, he's a good boxer. He's a good fighter. I really have nothing bad to say about him, but I just don't think he would be much of a match for Fury personally. You know, like I just said, Fury he's tall, he's long, he's heavy, and he's really quick. Like he's so loose in the ring. His punches kind of snap and whip. So I'm sure that they're a lot harder than they actually look. You know, when he's throwing them, because you see people, he's flying. I know earlier in his career, I've seen him fly plenty of heads, and he's got a really good body attack. He's good in short range. He's good with uppercuts and stuff.
Great uppercut.
And Usyk's hands, they're not any faster than Fury's. And if his hands aren't faster, if he's outskilled or outweighted, the guy's got too much height, he's too fast for you. In my mind, so I loved watching Juan Manuel Marquez box. I thought he was a really great boxer. I loved watching him. I loved watching Floyd fight. And when they were going to get it on, I was like, oh man, this is going to be a great fight. But it was a shutout because Floyd was bigger and faster and more skilled. And that's exactly what I think this fight would look like if those two guys fought each other.
It's a fucking blowout. It's a fucking blowout. Shout out to Fimo Lopez's pop.
I'll jump in real quick before I let Greg take us home on this topic. So Usyk, like everybody else, I have nothing bad to say about him. He's just not on Fury's level. And watching Tyson Fury since his comeback, he's like a man possessed in there. And what I like about him is his confidence. What's scary about him, his skill. His skill is so underrated. He's so big, you can't do nothing with him. Like, you literally would have to be Wilder size to really get in there and kind of tangle with him. Usyk is a little guy. Fury is one of the last of the bigs that fights like a big. He uses his weight. He knows how to use his weight. When he fights, he can box you or he can fight, which I really think is a lost art of a lot of boxers today. They really forget that, you know, it's still a fight at the end of the day. And I've watched Fury get in there with everybody and just kind of dominate, you know. Usyk, I think that he has a lot of holes in his game from a defense standpoint. Terrific offense. He has this kind of weird style also offensively where he tries to switch things up. But I think within 5 rounds, Fury figures him out and he sleeps him. That's just me. So I do want to see the fight. But again, I'm not like over the hill about that fight. I'd rather see, sadly, I'd rather see Wilder and Fury again.
Classic, man.
And it could happen again, but we'll see.
Be a better fight. Yeah.
It would. I'd buy that for $1.
Okay. Greg, what you got to take us home?
Y'all pretty much have said it all, man. Fury's too elusive. Like, period. That's it. You can take away all the rest of his stuff, the punching power and everything else. He's just too elusive. The guy's not even really going to be able to hit him. So,
which is crazy. He's like 7 feet tall.
I don't know how he does it, but he's too slick in the ring. His confidence level is great. His people don't talk enough about how great Tyson Fury's footwork is.
Yeah,
like, he moves really well in the ring, especially for someone his size. I don't think the only shot that Usyk has is a lucky knockout. That is really it, and I don't think that's going to happen because Tyson Fury's got a great chin. If the ref gives him 4 or 5 extra seconds, but still got a great chin regardless. You know what I'm saying?
Also, I think he pissed off Tyson Fury, so we'd get a different level of Fury in that ring with him. He's not going to go in there to toy with him.
Yeah, I think he would.
You do?
I think that's exactly what he'd do with them. I think he'd toy with them and embarrass them. I don't think he'd knock him out. I think he'd just mess with him the whole fight, have man swinging in the air and pop shotting him. I just think Tyson Fury's too. I think he's too elusive.
You know what I like in Tyson Fury too, though? After watching like a bazillion of his fights, like I discovered him later in his career, but he's like a bear. You ever seen a bear at the circus that just stands up, is much bigger than you think, got the gigantic paws, and he's just like da 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 da, and then one day he's like, oh, and then you see the cat like double over, and it's like, wait, what happened? They didn't look that hard, and then you watch the replay, and you just see the nastiness of the shots, and you're like, oh, that's what happened. Like, that's what I think he is. Like, I don't have a boxer comp for him. He's like an animal to me. I just think that, you know, when he gets tired of playing, you know, he's gonna send you home, and that's what it is.
Very possible.
On a Gypsy King or something.
Yeah, it is getting Gypsy King.
You don't get that name by not being a good fighter.
It's getting to the point now where you got to start trying to figure out where Tyson Fury ranks in heavyweights all time. That's how dominant he's been.
Behind Larry Holmes. I'm sorry. But I think
I agree with that. He is behind Larry Holmes.
Like Larry Holmes, I don't want to derail the conversation. So I don't know, man. Gypsy King, man. This dude literally, his backstory is the boxer from Snatch. So I don't know what you do with somebody
named after Mike Tyson.
Like, I don't know what to do with someone like that. He's a bare knuckle champion. Don't you know what that means? You know, he's I don't know what to do with someone like that.
I don't know, but yeah, I think the fight ends up being a wash if they fight.
Yeah. Listen,
I don't see him hitting Tyson.
We look forward to seeing if that fight does happen, and if it does, we'll be watching. And if it's a wash, guess what? It'll be a good one. Also, at a later show, we will debate Fury's place in boxing history because I'm curious everybody's thoughts there. Now, to our last topic of the day, right? Speaking about being a wash, all right? We always talk about greatness. We talk about people who perform at the top level, the optimal speed. Let's talk about people who underperform or people who just don't show up at all. Or some people like folks on my list who just make a habitual career out of doing this all the time. Give me your top 5, okay? These are people who are like underperformers in the playoffs, choke artists. What do you got for me?
Let me just go ahead and we can divvy this up and go one at a time. I'm just going to tell you right now, this list for everyone should start in the modern era that's going on right now. It should start and end with James Harden.
With the first pick.
James Harden is a gold medalist in the disappointment Olympics. This dude,
oh man,
every year since he's left Oklahoma, you expect him to at least make a finals appearance, especially when he was in his prime. And it never fails. Well, if the game's on the line, if there's a game 7, if there's something that needs to be done, he is going to let you down every time. Yes. And it's not like people have not tried to help him along the way. He has had amazing teammates through this
everywhere
whole thing.
he's been.
Everywhere he's been. The only person who's had better teammates everywhere they've gone is Kevin Durant.
Yep.
And Kevin Durant was his teammate at one point. So
and they produced the same result.
Twice. That's right.
Twice.
Oh, yeah. And he made it to the finals with him once when he was coming off the bench. James Harden, as a number 1, has been super disappointing. And as a number 2, he looks like he stepped in number 2.
Yeah.
He is just not he's not that dude. It's time for us to stop saying that James Harden is any kind of superstar. And he's on that the back 9 of his career. It's a wrap.
The back 9,
James. The back 9.
He's at the back 9 of Old Country Buffet. That's what James Harden is doing. All right. James Harden was number 1 on my list. All right. You know why? And I have to use somebody else's name because you just gave all excellent points, but I got to get this shot off at him. All right. I've never seen a dude achieve less, demand more in their career. He's literally done nothing. Yeah, regular season. 65 points. Oh, almost 70 points. Look at Harden. And the way that he's doing it, number one, is the cheapest thrill that you'd ever see in your life. He pump fakes, he jumps into you, he takes free throws. First of all, that shouldn't even be a foul call at this point. All right. Yeah, when he's hot, he can hit some threes. Why is he never hot in the playoffs? All right. Joel Embiid thought, man, I might get a little bit. What's happening is this is the greatest choke artist in NBA history, but also not enough.
Let me also add this into James Harden when it comes to playoff times. Not only does he fall off offensively, his defense is literally non-existent.
Yo, I'm not gonna listen to this.
Literally non-existent.
The ball.
I'll put it like this. I will give you $10. You should find me a James Harden steal in a playoff game.
Yo, he stole the ball. Listen, man, I'm not gonna let you slander James Harden like this, brother.
Nah, man.
Let you do it.
Nah.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying he's an all-time great or anything. Which he is. But look, here's the thing.
I'm talking about when it counts.
All I'm saying is
matters.
I disagree with you
in the clutch.
because James Harden this past year, he did what he was asked to do. He got them 2 games.
I'm talking about when he was the number one. I'm talking about when he was the number one.
He got him 2 games.
Now, if you want to go into the whole thing of Philly.
But in Brooklyn, he did nothing. He asked for a way out with Daryl Morey. He went to Philly. He did nothing. Now he released a video from China dissing Daryl Morey.
Yeah, you calling him core man. You know, sit there. You got shot. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna let y'all say that. Man.
He's trying to go and do more choking with Kevin Durant and Devin Booker now. He's begging for a way to Phoenix that he's not going to get right now. It's just listen. He's a first class Olympian, gold medalist, world champion, undisputed, all of that, and choking when it counts. I have no respect.
He is a gold medalist in the choking Olympics.
All right. You go ahead and go before I go, man. I don't want to hear you.
We're doing one at a time kind of thing? Because that was
we can.
A lot of heat.
Yeah, we can.
We got 19 more people to you want to just have Greg go through his other ones? And I don't know, man. I go if you want. I can go. I can throw one out if you want.
Yeah, just throw one out, man. We're just gonna get this. Let's just do this thing.
All right. So one of the guys I got on my list. All right. So he was a 90% field goal kicker during the regular season.
What?
Like 95% extra point regular season. Somehow, some way, Mr. Brett Maher into the playoffs. And he cannot find the damn. I couldn't believe it.
Very good.
It's like 3 extra points. I mean, I felt so bad for this man. The look in his eyes, it just looked like he just wanted to literally die on the spot.
That's good because people wanted to literally kill him.
Yeah,
he would have welcomed that thing. He probably would have rather been killed than miss another one. Then he went back and missed another one. So it's like I think he's just completely. I think he's done, man. I think he's done. I know that he's really working, towards getting back, but I got to say, if the game is on the line in the playoffs, and the back of the jersey says Maher, staying away from it, man. Just can't do it. That was one of the worst choke jobs I've ever seen.
It's like he turns into Charlie Brown and Lucy's holding the football.
That might have been better, actually, because he was getting stuff blocked. He missed, like 3 extra points in a row?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was a stinker. And I had forgot all about him because I was so upset with the guy that I was talking about. But yeah, you're right. And because you forget during the regular season, he's great.
I think he's done, though. I think
he should be.
What happens to those kickers when I've never seen yips like that before. I think he's
yips.
I don't see him, but it's crazy with kickers. You rarely see them recover from that.
Exactly. That's why.
I don't know what.
Yeah. Other people, they can come. Like I've seen people, I don't know, golfers and stuff. They look like crap. 1 year and then 3 years later they're back on top. But it doesn't. Kickers.
Yeah, this dude's on his way to being Feinhorn.
Give us one.
All right. My list was actually a little bit different. I had teams and individual players. But number 5, and I tried not to look at it as people choking. It's more so like just some of the worst moments. Although
underperforming.
This person habitually has bad luck and habitually.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Let me finish. He habitually ends up happening. He's just I don't know. He is Charlie Brown, and that is Chris Paul. Chris Paul.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Chris Paul so oftentimes just at the wrong time will be hurt. At the wrong time will put up a stinker. At the wrong time and he can be great for 6 games, but in that 7th game when you need it, something weird happens.
Wait. Injuries aren't choking. Injuries are injuries. That's just like bad luck. But CP3 chokes though in the playoffs. I
mean, at the Suns,
I've seen him choke.
Yeah,
and
like I said, I don't think he's a choker.
I'm not a choker, but he did choke out. You're right.
He's not a choker, but he is a person who is snake bitten. Like no one.
There's a black cat running around his locker.
With him, when it comes to basketball, is me, and that's saying a lot. Tell you.
Yeah,
my guys are choke.
I wouldn't say he's a choke artist, but he's
all the people with the
he's definitely got the worst luck that I've seen a basketball player of his caliber have.
All but 2 people on the list that I have amassed. I don't consider like chokers in the idea of being like complete and utter choke artists. I consider them having I consider them having a really terrible moment.
So I got one for you, right? Most people on my list outside of the boxer on this list are like perennial choke artists, right? So the one I'm gonna throw out first is from baseball, and I love him. He's supposed to be up next. Aaron Judge for the Yankees.
Oh,
Aaron Judge,
I don't agree with that.
Postseason, he starts striking out like none other. Every time, loaded bases.
Oh my God! Oh my Lord! Okay, hold on a second. Hold on, you just gave me one. You just gave me one.
I've not seen it like that in a minute because he was supposed to be like Jeter after Jeter, and it's like Judge is great until the playoffs come. Then when it's time for like the pennant, it's like he forgets how to swing. He can't locate the ball, can't track it. And it's just like the same thing, no matter who the pitcher is. We could all take turns pitching at him in the playoffs, and it's going to be rinse, wash, repeat. He's going to swing. You ever seen a cartoon where a character swings around itself? That's what he turns into.
That's enough.
And I'm not
going to let this happen.
Listen, the Yankees are my spots. I need him to come through, but it's like.
Look, I don't know if he's. I mean, his numbers drop.
But in the playoffs specifically is where
in the playoffs, yes, his numbers drop.
Judge like
but
that.
I think part of it is because of the when you can't be like you're gonna be the next El Capitan and expect someone to live up to that. Like it's just not gonna happen, man. So
he doesn't have to strike out as much times as he does either. It's like, hit the ball like you did in the season. In the season, he can't.
I don't like it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's the anti-Reggie Jackson. He
is not Mr. October.
No, you expect more. That's all I'll say. I don't know if he's like a choke artist, but you expect that's choking. Yeah, you're right. Sorry, I washed my hands.
In the biggest moments, he turns colder than the. Never mind, I can't even go there on this show. Listen. Somebody throw out another one. Throw out another one.
Oh, go ahead. You were gonna say something?
No, I said that was for the judge. I hit the.
Oh, I got another one.
I got plenty. I got 4 more. So
I can throw mine out. Who wants to throw it out? If not, I'll go.
Hey, Greg.
Go, Greg.
Embiid, and I love Embiid. But Embiid is the only MVP of the league that has never been to a conference finals.
He just got to the second. He just got his MVP.
He's never been to the conference finals.
What a mercy.
That is unexcusable for a guy that good. It's different for great players to not get a ring,
right?
But to never make it to the conference finals and you're the man. Like not even the conference finals. We're not even talking about the finals. The conference finals. His numbers often drop in the playoffs, and he often gets hurt or has a tummy ache or something stupid like that.
Yes.
Wait,
For as good as
I
he
said the
is.
same thing about Chris Paul. Y'all weren't guessing that, man. Come on, man.
Yeah, but Chris Paul has actually made it to a finals, and he's made it to the Western Conference Finals several times.
Yeah, that's
and
what
he's the
happens when you've been in
reason
the
why
league.
they made it.
That's what happens when you've been in the league 80 years. I mean, come on, man.
Come on, man. Come on, no Chris Paul's none of y'all.
I'm just saying, like, of all the great centers that we've seen, and he's one of the great centers, he's the only one that's never gone anywhere.
Jokic just showed you what it takes.
He's never gone anywhere.
That's a tough one because he was a Kawhi Leonard miracle.
That's what I'm saying.
Something on the rim and falling in from going.
I can't expose.
But you know what? It shouldn't even have gotten that far.
Why I'm so against this until I get to go. So I'm not gonna.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I mean, you can go now. Tell me I'm wrong. I really want to be wrong. I'm just telling you what I feel because I think Embiid's great.
I'm going in order, so it's going to be the last one. So I can't. I'm going.
Give us your next one. What's your next one then?
Clayton Kershaw.
Clayton Kershaw?
Yeah, Kershaw.
Oh, okay. I agree wholeheartedly.
Coleslaw, yeah, coleslaw plays like crap in the old MLB playoffs every year. He's the ace of base, and then he just turns into poop. Hey man, I got that off of when you said Aaron Judge and you said people be striking out, and I thought about Clayton Kershaw, and I was like, that guy.
Can you imagine Kershaw pitching and Judge at the plate?
Judge is winning that every day. Judge winning that every day.
Full count.
Yeah, I had to think about it. There's been so many years where Kershaw should have been gone, should have took it, and it just didn't happen.
And like I said, I don't think he's necessarily. I mean, he does worse in the playoffs than he does in the regular season.
Oh, definitely does.
But I don't necessarily say he's a choker,
but that's kind of choking though, right? When you look at
that's
it, right?
what choking is. When you don't live up to your.
My thing is technically in the playoffs, you're playing against better competition all the time. So it's like you're gonna get whatever more. It's gonna be harder. That's all.
Like my guy Garrett Cole, I love him, but he was close to being on this list. He didn't make it, but in the playoffs, man, I'm like, come on, where's the ace? What's happening here? Like, no. But I got somebody who is on this list before I let T jump back in this thing, right? Everybody loves this guy after this documentary. I still think he's a sucker. No, I'm just kidding. But he is a choke artist. Kirk Cousins. Listen, I've never seen a guy make all the money that he's made, get all the praise that he's gotten, and never have really performed in the big time. And this is regular season against teams that actually have winning records that are great. A1 defenses, not a pack of fourth graders back there where he can just throw to the guy wide open. The NFL is a game of you have to kind of throw the wide receiver open, right? And that's something I didn't really learn till I got older. I'm like, wow, Kurt, you're a professional. You should have knew this from the beginning, right? And like he's just there, like underperforming and cheesing after the game. His uniform looks clean on the sideline, like he just walked out on the field. I'm like, man, this was a playoff game. Your teammates aren't tired of you yet? Oh no, that's why Diggs is in Buffalo now, right? And now Justin Jefferson is like, it's not my guy. Look, it's just.
I agree with you.
Daniel Jones. Let's just move on.
Hold on.
Daniel Jones.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
And Jones.
Kirk Cousins stinks in the playoffs. But I don't agree with him being a choke artist because he does exactly what I expect him to do. Like, that's not choking to me. That's who he is.
You expect
that's who he is. I expect him. I know that's going to happen. I don't have my hopes up on him.
The Minnesota front office should just pay anybody else that money then to have better expectations.
Yeah. And that's Minnesota's
what's the old buddy that was there that went 13-3 before he got there? They were one game before going to the Super Bowl.
Skull.
Florida State. Yeah.
What's his name?
I forget his name. They got rid of him.
He's a permanent backup, yo, and then he got a shot and did a decent one. That was his name was. Yo, T, man, go ahead. You didn't get a chance to do your part. Yeah. Sorry.
Well, hold on. But do y'all agree with my stance on Kirk Cousins? Like, that's not choking?
I'm with Antoine. The reason why you're saying
Case Keenum is who I was thinking of.
You're saying that he's a choke artist. Everyone on my list, I expect them when the moments are big to do exactly the wrong.
That's where I differ with mine. The guys on my list, I expect them to do better, and then they don't. And I keep on getting fooled by them every year. I'm not fooled by Kirk Cousins.
At one point,
yeah, I know what he is. I've called him mediocre Kirk for years.
So are you saying that the people on your list, if they let you down enough, they're no longer choke artists?
No, that's just who they are.
Well, I mean, but
I'll put it to you like this. Nobody is like Kirk Cousins is one of the best in the league right now. No one says that.
People say that.
People say that, unfortunately.
There's even a person in there's even a person on this show.
Cousins.
There's even a person on this show who said they take Kirk Cousins over Dak Prescott. I ain't saying
me. I would take him over Dak Prescott.
What?
I'd still take him over Dak Prescott.
Never.
Exposed.
Actually, no, not really.
Exposed.
They're the same person.
I'll take
Dak
Prescott
twins
with a hobbled ankle. Okay.
Kirk Cousins
elbow burstitis.
Kirk Cousins
Embiid tummy ache before I take
is melaninless. He's melanin deficient. Dak Prescott. That's what he is.
Capitulate, Greg. I'm never gonna let this go, man. Capitulate.
You don't have to let it go. I stand by it. I think Dak Prescott and Kirk Cousins are the same people. I've never seen them play each other.
No,
I've never seen them in the same stadium at the same time.
Is Dak a choke artist or no?
What?
Is Dak a choker, according to you?
No. He's just what he is. Just what he does.
But Dak doesn't choke.
I don't expect him to do that.
Okay, I mean,
I don't expect him to win.
Choker is different than mine. Like my definition of choking is when the moment is at its most crucial, when it's time to perform, when it's time to do something in order to elevate.
Okay, well, let me
when it's time
break
for
it down for
action.
you. When I talk about dudes that choke, they are the man on that team. They're the reason. Joel Embiid, almost the MVP every year. James Harden, MVP, leading scorer. Oh, he might be the greatest scorer we've ever seen. Those dudes that go into these situations and screw it up are choke artists. Kirk Cousins is pretty good.
Yeah, but what's the difference?
The difference is the whole thing is riding on these other guys.
Right. So look, so you're saying this person is great and you expect them to be great and they're not, right?
Yes.
That's fine. If this person's pretty good and you expect them to be pretty good and they're not, isn't that still choking?
No.
This is
what I'm saying. Because they're pretty good and it goes either way, if an average dude loses, you're just like, that's a you win some, you lose some kind of dude. If a great dude keeps losing, that's choking.
But if
I'll put it to you like,
go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, if an average dude doesn't perform average when it's time to, when the moment is biggest, then he's a choker. What's being asked of you is to do what you always do or better. If you can't do that,
well, that's the point I'm making. What he always does is that.
No, he does not in the regular season. Go ahead, Antoine.
He was brought in to be the guy to take them over the proverbial hump, right? He was supposed to be the missing pieces with their GM, now defunct. Right. Now they got a new GM. All right. So he gets people fired pretty good. He's MVP at that. But the key is when we talk about performing. You let Daniel Jones come in there and put on a Randall Cunningham performance on you, and you did nothing. He did nothing. And he's paid like, like he's Jim Kelly going to the Super Bowl, right? He's not doing that and coming up short. He's just
he got jumped, he got shot in the thigh, he did nothing.
I expect nothing of Kirk Cousins, and that's what he gives me. That's all I'm saying.
Let me ask you one.
Y'all have set your standards too high for what Kirk's abilities are.
No.
He's not going to take you to a chip. No one expects it.
Oh, he's definitely not.
One question. Game is on the line. It's 4th and 8. What do you expect of your quarterback?
Of my quarterback? If I'm running the team?
Any quarterback. What do you expect?
Well, you can't say any quarterback because I'd expect some quarterbacks I would expect to make that happen. If it's Patrick Mahomes, I expect him to make that happen. If it's Daniel Jones, I expect to lose tonight.
But what do you expect him to do? Do you expect him to throw it 8 yards or throw it 3?
Hey, it depends on what the play calls for.
We'll
Hey,
throw it.
Hey, Kirk's my number. Hey, I'm not even gonna do Kirk's my 3.
I say it depends on what the play calls for. Now the smart thing would be
who's gonna call?
No, listen to me.
Kirk's my
Look, it's the
3.
same thing. Look, it's the same thing with what happened in the Super Bowl with Russell Wilson and Marshawn Lynch. I'd expect someone to run the ball, but they chose to throw it. I don't know what the coach is drawing up. What I do expect is for Kirk Cousins to keep curtain, which means I expect nothing of him. I expect nothing. He can't disappoint me because I don't think he's worth being upset about.
Agree to disagree on the definition of choker. I mean,
okay. You gotta give your 4 and your 3.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was one of the guys on my list. Kirk Cousins. Another one on my list. Well, you know what? I got one more football player. Maybe we can argue him too. I got your boy Matty Ice.
You know what? Now that is a choke artist.
I agree.
That there, see what you just said right there? That guy's a choke artist. I expect Matty Ice to win when it's winning time. At least I used to. Now, Matty Ice is no longer a choker because I expect to see him fail.
Yeah, I never.
But before,
might be the only.
I expected Super Bowl championships, Super Bowl appearances. Matty Ice was really good.
What?
No,
he was really when he first was playing, he was great.
No, he wasn't.
He was really good.
And,
I'll put it to you like this. He was go back and look at his numbers before. Before the Patriots.
That's called Schuler. That's called the coach, who also should be on this.
Well, look. I said he made me a believer. He looked really good back there in the pocket when he was playing, and it was hard to do what he did because they had just got rid of Michael Vick, who was beloved. He was in a tough situation. He kept them winning, and he got them to some Super Bowls, and he looked like he was the guy that could take them over the top, and he didn't, and that makes him a choke artist.
Wow.
But I never believed in him. I may be the only person that when
so in your eyes, he should be a choke artist. He just is who he is.
Expected New England to win.
You said what?
I said I might be one of the only people that when they were down, when New England was down 28-3, said, so it's Tom Brady against Matt Ryan. I mean, Matt
exactly
finds a way to
now. Hold on. Now this is see now look. This is why we're getting into the choker part.
Falcons going Falcons.
Now you expected that to happen, so you weren't even disappointed. That's why he's not a choke artist, because you knew that shit was gonna happen.
I knew that he was gonna choke.
Exactly. That's why he's not choking. You knew exactly what was gonna happen. You weren't like he's gonna take this home. Now, if you were like he's gonna take this home and take the chip back to Atlanta,
you know that when a playoff
and then when he loses, you'd be like, "What? That's a choke artist." You knew it was coming because that's what he does.
Kirk is my number 3. I mean, why?
Listen, I know some people are gonna choke. Harden gonna choke. Kirk Cousins gonna choke. I give you another guy here, right, on my list. Devin Booker. He's a choke artist. Here's why. All that Mamba mentality talk, all that regular season scoring and turnaround jumpers. When it's time, you're up in the finals, 2-1. Chris Paul is older than you. All right, he's also always banged up. This is Booker's time to shine. Devin Booker might have well been in the crowd eating popcorn. Okay, he was here with Kevin Durant. Same thing. Okay, against the eventual champs.
Booker was averaging like 38 a game, man. You can't say that, man.
This is where numbers lie a little bit, though. What else did he do?
Yeah.
What else did he do?
What else is he supposed to do? It's Devin.
You got to win the game.
You got to win the game. You know what I mean?
You got to win the game. That team was talented enough to win the championship before the playoffs started. Who did everybody have winning the finals? Not us, but just.
I'm saying I didn't have them winning the finals at all.
No, I didn't either. But
matter of fact, I recall saying they were going to go out to Denver if they could get past the Timberwolves. You know, and
everybody.
What happened?
Everybody had Phoenix picked to go to the finals. Why? Because KD and Booker. Booker
you talking
doesn't
about this
say
shit?
it.
Look, this is the thing about Booker.
Yeah.
I don't think Booker's a choke artist. I think he's overrated. I think people think
I
he's
can kinda
better
get
than
with
what
that.
he is.
I can get with that.
And it's the same thing. Like him and Jason Tatum are really close to being like 100% spectacular all around. But they always have these games where you question who they are.
I think this is racism.
What a racist?
No, but
beige?
Oz, this is where the numbers lie because I could throw Anthony Davis on the list, right? Look at Anthony Davis's numbers against the Nuggets. It looks good. It looked good numbers if you just look at the paper, but if you watch the games, different thing. That's the effect I'm talking about.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but I'm just saying, like, all the people you guys named look closer to the shirt than to my skin color.
So that's the guy.
I don't know any dark skinned joke artists, man. I don't know any. No, I named two. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but say
I named a whole African. Like you don't get much darker than that.
Man, relax, man. T, I would rather hear your third guy before I give my second, because
you okay? Yeah, I can give another guy. I got two more. This one's a boxer. See what y'all think. I have Mr. Adrian Broner.
Ooh.
You know what?
Every fight.
Ooh.
Agreed.
Garcia, Sean Porter, every time he's always running, you know.
like Zab Judah. It's like Zab Judah, where you're like, yo, he's always top 10.
Just never, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Adrian Broner, I expected a lot from Adrian Broner, and it just never panned out.
Yeah.
Pressure bust pipes.
Yeah.
What do you
and
say?
He's always bumping his gums like he's a champ.
Exactly. About billions or whatever. More
about beatings. That boy getting beat. And then after the fight, he wants to do the most fighting with like the commentator.
Yeah.
Tell us what happened,
crazy.
Adrian.
Y'all know I beat that boy. Y'all know I beat that nigga.
He just goes crazy.
Anyway.
Okay, I'm gonna switch it up. I'm gonna throw a curveball in here. So my number two, my number two is not a person, it's a team. Is the Brooklyn Nets of 2022. The Brooklyn
Who
Nets
was on that team?
Kevin Durant.
And who else?
And James Harden.
Thank you.
And Kyrie Irving.
Well, Kyrie was there part-time working.
Yeah.
Well, Ziggy. You understand?
He's a part-time employee.
I think you get where I'm going here. I think you get where I'm going here.
Don't forget, Ben. Well, no, Ben wasn't on the team at that point.
Nope.
Was he? Nope, he sure wasn't.
Nope.
No.
He was coaching at that point.
Steve Nash was coaching, who also sometimes did not perform when he was supposed to, as good as a player as he was. And I'm not saying that. Look, I debated when this came up whether I would put Kevin Durant on there, but Kevin Durant is not a choker. But to me, like a choker is someone who never overcomes it. He sucks sometimes, and sure, he was in the very best position to succeed, but he still had to make them shots. You still got to shoot over LeBron and make the shot. You know what I'm saying?
You talking about the Warriors, KD? I'm not giving him credit for that. He did what he was supposed to do.
I understand that, but I mean, you still got to make the shot. Like, I don't give him credit overall, but he still made the shots. That's all I'm saying.
Why don't these shots fall everywhere else when he's called to be the guy? Not when Steph Curry. Because Steph Curry and Draymond, they want to chip after him. Right?
Yeah, well,
I'm just saying.
Well, that's not true because we all know Kevin Durant has played probably on the most talented teams ever. And LeBron James, like, handpicked his teams and they weren't as talented as the teams that Kevin Durant just happened to be on. Like he handpicked Olympians and it still wasn't as good.
Yeah.
As some that Kevin Durant just stumbled into.
Yeah. LeBron
James, how many chips does KD got?
If I go by Stu Goss's personal record book, 0.
Right. And LeBron got, all right. And he also took a team to the finals in 2007 that had the YMCA All-Stars, basically, is what he took in 2007.
First of all,
and
don't disparage the young men's Christian Academy. I don't know what YMCA is. But the point is, you know what I'm saying? The point is that, man, the Brooklyn Nets, that was the biggest choke job ever. I mean,
that's bad.
I remember when they assembled that team, and I was like, man, I feel bad. I've been dogging Kevin Durant since he made that trade to Golden State. And I was like, okay, he's finally going to get a chance to prove himself. And then they started bringing all these people in. I was like, damn, that's tough, man. When they win it, you know. But then as the season progressed, I was like, these dudes might make the playoffs. So it was just, they were sad. And but it wasn't all that. All that was bad. But when the Celtics came in there and swept them, and Kevin Durant looked like, as you would say, Bambi, that was terrible. It's trash.
It was bad.
Trash.
You know the only beef I have with KD though, and it's real beef, is that
you can't join the team that beat
you. You can't join the team that beat you. You come on, man. Stop what you said. You can join anybody. It's free agency. We get it, but there has to be some kind of code of conduct. You're gonna just join a team that you were up 3-1 on, that came back and beat you. Like that's just.
And then
it just looks bad.
And then started talking to other cats in the league.
Yeah,
that's the part that really is upsetting. He was killing before then, and then after a while, he was like, "Yo, yeah, what you gonna do, CJ?"
Right.
It's like,
oh yeah, I remember that. He's talking crazy.
Talking crazy to CJ McCollum. It's like, yeah, well, you know, anybody can win a ring in Golden State, man.
And what's wild about that is CJ McCollum and what's my man, Dame Lillard, they were up by almost 17 points every game that they lost in that series against Golden State. You know?
Yeah.
And they didn't turn around and ask to be traded to Golden State, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's Golden State. You know? Holding your face, you know? Golden State, holding your face. Yeah, man.
See, I don't know if I don't know if KD might be on this list when I think about it.
Is he on your list? Okay.
He might have to be.
I mean,
that's interesting.
He could have been, but like I said, you still got to make them shots. He made them shots, and he made them 2 years in a row. It wasn't like he just did it once. So.
Well, the reason why I'm saying is because a player of his caliber,
yeah, we know,
should have taken a team,
we know,
to the finals multiple times, especially with the teammates that he's had.
We know.
Yep.
You mean
James?
That's right.
Yeah.
You talking about James? You talking about James Harden?
I'm talking about KD.
KD's had a lot of great teammates.
No, he's saying his teammates like James Harden. That's what he's saying.
Oh yeah, James Harden. Like, let's not get it twisted. James Harden can ball.
He can
until the playoffs.
Oh, come on, man.
Until the playoffs.
Yeah.
Then he's just that little baby
I don't know
concert.
if it just falls in lines with.
I don't like it. I like the way y'all talking about James Harden. That chubby baller, man, he be getting it in, man. Let leave Crenshaw alone, man. You know what I mean?
Listen, he put on a fat man suit to get traded, and then next thing you know, he dropped that weight the next day. Like, listen, I'm in Philly. Let's go.
Well, he found that weight again. James Harden is built like Dolomite.
That's enough, yo.
That's the end of the show. No,
yo, move on to the last one, yo. Move on to the last one.
So my last one is not a perennial choke artist, right? So it's a boxer. I actually think he's a good fighter. He's a young fighter, but he got smashed, as they would say, right? And it's Stephen Fulton, right? He went against.
Yo, you never gonna beat the monster.
He talked so much. He just talked crazy before the fight. He was like, you know, the finger pointing, all this other stuff. I'm like, man, I know he's cool, but I know he's not going to beat the monster, but maybe it'd be a better fight than what I think. He got out there, deer in headlights. It's like he felt that power and the speed the first time. Yo, T was like Bruce Lee, and then he's like, and I'm not saying that because it was literally like he hit him with such speed. It was like it was like a body shot, right? And you just saw Fulton look around at the crowd like, yo, who did that? And it was like, there's another one. And then after a minute, the monster just said, oh, he ain't going to fight back? Okay, I could do this all day.
It looked like Fulton got jumped.
Yeah. I had to fight to not say something else, but it just looked bad. He just got beat bad.
Once again, I got to disagree. I can't put him on that list. I can't put him on this list because you knew him going into that fight that it was going to turn out bad for him. That's not joking. That's reality. That's what was going to happen.
When I tell you,
joking.
It looked like the monster was fighting in fast forward. And
you need to leave that little guy alone. People need to leave that guy alone.
He's a problem.
And them punches sounded like they hurt. And he took his soul after that second round. I was like, yeah.
He's probably the most aggressive fighter in boxing right now. He's a
I was
problem.
like, cut your little ponytail off. It's done. You are finished.
Yeah. He's
just
That'd be $8.
But yeah, I can't let you do that to that man, Antoine, because we knew it was gonna happen when they signed that paperwork. We knew exactly what was gonna happen.
I felt bad for him at the press conference. He just kept talking. And you ever see the other dude just quietly looking at him like, you don't know what I'm about to do to you. And I was just like,
yo, Antoine, to make it worse, they was trying to accuse him of having bad rap, so he let them wrap his hands.
Yeah. And then he wrapped them hands around his face. I was like, yo, no mercy. Like, if it was a high school football game, they would have stopped that shit in the first half. That's how bad it was, yo. I was like, does he want to fight? Does he know he's in a fight? I think somebody was like, is he sedated? He's not sedated. He's scared. That's what that is.
I wouldn't say he's scared, but he definitely was confused. I'll tell you that. He didn't know what was going on.
He felt the power of those punches. Like one of those punches I heard. You ever been watching TV at home and then like somebody drops something upstairs or you hear a boom outside? That's how one of those punches sounded. And the horror in his face after taking that punch, I was like,
it looked like someone. It sounded like someone was dropping stakes off a building. It just
the thump slap kind of.
Oh man.
That's what it sounded like. It sounded like someone dropping hot steaks off a goddamn building. Just raw steak.
Put his hands all over.
Yeah.
Put his hands all over. I don't know how to say.
Like I think he probably could have charged that man with assault, and it was all. He could have charged that man with assault. That's how bad it was. But we knew that was gonna happen.
It was such an ass whooping, yo. After all this shit talking, I had to say he got to make this list just for this fight. He got to. But
he even knew that was gonna happen. That's why he was talking crazy. He was trying to say.
You saw him at the press conference, right? So what happened? It was a left and a right, and it just wasn't my night. He was the better fighter, ouch. Hold on, it hurt to speak a little bit. That's the thing about fighting. If you're gonna talk, you better be able to back it up. Like it better be like an all-out war. You better go out on your shield. Where we was like, oh, that was kind of close, because when you get smacked like that, man, it's just like, man, go be a family man, yo.
Yeah.
My number one is Ben Simmons.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good
Hence why Embiid is not on my list. And all I have to do is point to one moment. He was on the break, and another guy, Velocis or some kind of shit like that, was running down the wing on the other side. And the only thing between him and a surefire go-ahead bucket was Trae Young, who is not known for defense or height.
No.
And as he rises up or thinks about rising up, he gives the ball up to Thable. And Young proceeds to smack the hand of Thable. And Thable goes on to make one or two free throws. That sounds like nothing, but when you watch the game, the entire series was over immediately after that happened.
Yep. It was a wrap. And Audrey, you are 100% right.
Thank you. That's all I wanted.
You are 100% right. Nobody, and I mean nobody, has grabbed the noose quicker and faster than Ben Simmons. Nobody.
I'm gonna tell you right now, as a guy who thinks someone else always has a better shot, when I saw that play, I said, "Is that what that looks like?" I said, "I'll just miss a shot. I don't give a shit." If that's what that looks like, I was like, I'll just miss a shot then.
Wow. I would rather him have hit the Ewing blown finger roll than do what he did.
Yeah.
Yes.
At least with Ewing, you were like, the nigga's knees went out. He just can't get. He ain't got the same lift. But this was just blatant scrub. Just
that's why I don't fall.
He could have dunked it. Ben Simmons like 6'10".
He should have dunked him.
It was right there. He intentionally, it was like point shaving. That's how bad it was at that point. That's the kind of play that in the locker room, the reporters probably can't get in after the game because is some furniture moving at that point. Like, how do you not hate that dunk?
The coach couldn't even defend him.
No. And
Doc
they wanted
Rivers
to get on
couldn't
Doc
defend him.
Rivers. I'm like, what did you want him to say?
Embiid couldn't defend him, but Trae Young could.
Actually, you know what? He couldn't. And they still haven't.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
He was like, oh, I thought I was about to be on a poster. I guess not.
He had Bruno Mars in the post and couldn't do nothing with it. It's just ridiculous.
this here for that white go.
No.
That's number one. And that's why I thought that you calling out Embiid like that was a bit ambitious. Sorry.
No, because it's still going on with Embiid. That's why I talked
When I
about
saw
it.
the Billy
Like this year, I expected him to at least be in the Eastern Conference Finals.
End of discussion, because contrary to belief, I'm the head. Okay, never mind. Go ahead.
Anybody else have any more remaining?
Hey, hold on. Do you remember when me and you, Audrey, had the discussion about who won the trade? Because I was just like, Philly won the trade when they got James Harden, and you were like, nah, Brooklyn got it because they got Ben Simmons.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Turns out we were broke.
Well, the thing is,
turns out nobody won.
I honestly thought that Ben Simmons, I didn't know that his phobia of feeling embarrassment from shooting was that deep. I didn't realize it was that.
I knew he was psychologically done.
I'm surprised. But is he? You know what? No, I don't want to extend the show too much. I was gonna say, is he that much worse than Harden? Because in the playoffs, I watched Harden with Philly. Harden turned himself into a fifth option on that team. That Philly team is nice.
It is very.
And they're young gunners, got to get up and down the court. He didn't even have to play defense if he wants, right? But that's how bad he was.
But James Harden gave them 2 games, though. He got.
But James, this is why James Harden, when it comes to choking in the big picture of things between him and Ben Simmons, this is why James Harden is worse. Because people still could be like, Embiid's the man on that team too. It was like a shared we're the man. Yeah. On Harden's teams, it was all Harden. Even when he got Westbrook, it was still Harden. When he got Chris Paul, it was still Harden.
When he had Dwight Howard,
it was still Harden.
James Harden was a 6-man prior to Ben Simmons.
James Harden averaged 36 points a game.
Ben Simmons was seen as the next LeBron or Magic Johnson.
There's been lots of people who have been seen as the next whoever.
He looked like he might be his rookie year when he finally got a chance to play. He looked like he might have done something, and then steadily
in summer league.
No, I mean,
not in a real game.
I don't know if people remember his first playoff series when he played the Miami Heat and was dunking on them.
He's had it. Like Ben Simmons was when he was on. He was on. He was no scrub when he was on. But I mean, that might be the greatest rise and fall of a star I've ever seen in my life.
I hesitate to even call him a star, and here's why.
Whoa!
I watched him at no bullshit. I watched him at Montverde Academy in Orlando or whatever it was he was at. He always looked disinterested. He goes to LSU. Clearly the best player on the team.
Disinterested at LSU, yeah.
You get to March Madness. I watched a guy I'd never heard of before, Dwayne Wade, make a name for himself at Marquette. Final Four. They might even went to the championship and lost, but
look at the Final Four.
He literally came out of nowhere, but rose to the occasion. Ben Simmons has all the size. He had all the skill. He has great court vision. Not a great shooter, but guess what? There's so many other areas of the game that was just like on that. Okay, he should have did better than that. He got out there in that first game. I don't know if it was Texas A&M, whoever they played, right? He was so awful for a guy who's supposed to be going as a lottery pick. You want to get all the money at that point. I thought he's going to be dunking on cats, spinning in the lane, dropping off dimes. He's supposed to be next. Ben Simmons looked like he'd rather be home playing Fortnite, which, come to find out, there it is, you know? And so when you see these things, you can't unsee them. Like people are, oh, you're hating. It's like, no, I'm not hating. I'm not in the league. Like this is what it is. You know, I'm watching like everybody else. I can't unsee somebody who is on the court that doesn't look like they want to be on the court. And you can't say that about multiple games at that point, right? Like you might say, oh, a family friend died, or this happened. You know, people give all these like outs, and they give these outs as if it's the first person in history for these things to happen. Like, oh, listen, Lonzo Ball, I thought didn't play that bad in UCLA against De'Aaron Fox when he had some family stuff go down, right? He still was balling, but De'Aaron Fox is just, he's a beast. But Ball was still balling.
Just always been better than Ball.
Right.
Yeah.
But to my point, Ball didn't look as bad as Simmons that game. Simmons just looked like whatever, and still got drafted. And I said that's part of the problem now, I think, with the league, is that they keep drafting guys high who either have no interest in basketball or no interest in winning. If you're a GM and you want to win,
it's his ceiling was high, so you had.
Oh hell, man, that's Jokic. Jokic don't give a damn.
Yeah, but on the court,
they asked him about the NBA. He was just like, everyone hates their job. I'm like, nigga, word. Yo, that nigga was mad. He was upset about a mandatory parade because they won. He's like, I have to go to that parade and have the best time. Come on.
Go ahead, T. Go ahead, T.
Yeah.
Take us home, T.
Last one is Mr. Jordan Poole.
Oh man, that's cool.
Ooh.
I don't know that.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I need to even say anything. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not going to disagree with this at all.
Poor decision making, the lack of defense, the Adrian Boomer style yapping. I mean,
I'll be honest. I have to put Jordan Poole in the. I'll agree with you once we see what he does in Washington. I don't expect much from him. I didn't expect him to be that guy there.
I don't think
I think he out-talked his game. That's why I think happened to Jordan Poole. But for him to be the age that he is and drafted and how he got into the league, I never really expected him to be great. So when he did do a great job, it was like bonus.
But
I know why you're saying what you're saying, and you're right.
I don't think he's any good. I never have. I always thought he was a discount Jordan Clarkson, personally. The way that they talk him up.
Call this nigga
Jordan. They talking about all this stuff.
He's a perfect thing that he is.
But you know what I saw? That's what
I didn't know that they released that part of the film with him and Draymond.
The deleted scenes here with director back there. Well, guys, we were there and it'd been a long day for Dre, and I just came out of spinal surgery. Like, nah, I agree, because he thought he was Steph. He came in and it was just like he started jacking up shots from half court, and I'm like, you got to play your role. Like, go watch it. To his point, to Greg's point earlier about I just point about KD. Listen, he hit the shots. Go hit the shots.
Yeah,
that's how you got to be where you're supposed to be. He came out.
To me, he was just a guy on the team that caught a little bit of flame every now and then. I gotta see what he does in the Wizards, because now this is his team. Now he's got to talk that shit and show and prove.
Nah, Kyle Kuzma's there now. Hold on, they're gonna have a fashion show. Yo, did you see the Jordan Poole video from University of Michigan where he's dancing to like Drake and he's like, TT, do you love me? I gotta send that to you.
The mere fact that he has a team is mind blowing.
It says it all.
That's just mind. I mean, Steph was on the court.
Yes,
pulling up from 30, and Steph is open. He's like, nah, I'm Jordan.
He waved him off.
Blank.
Like I said, that's just goofy. That's him being just goofy rookie shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't expect much from him. But now,
I mean, he went to Davidson, and
I'm talking about with Poole does it, not when Steph does it. But yeah, that's goofy rookie shit, man. But now that he's got his team and he's got to be that dude, and if he goes out there and he's busting ass all season long, and somehow they get into the playoffs, and then he turns into the shallow end of the pool, then, sir, then I'll be like, hey, this guy looks like he's got potential to be a choke artist.
If he's looking like an all-star all year long, I'll get on here and apologize because I don't think
that's
he's
fine. Look, if he can look like an all-star the whole entire season, he can be in the MVP discussion. But if he goes to the playoffs in every couple of years, and they're supposed to beat the Atlanta Hawks, and they don't, that's when I'll be like, yeah.
Who have you ever seen go to the Wizards and be better? Like maybe Gilbert Arenas?
Yeah, that's it. Gilbert Arenas.
Literally, that's it.
Yeah, no one else has come to the Wizards and been better. That's
not Chris Webber.
Yeah, Chris Webber and Javon Howard, they show improved in there.
They were not better.
See, Chris Webber at Golden State was a monster.
Like, no, he was great when he was on the Bullets. Now
he was better on the Kings.
Yeah. He was better on the Kings. He was great on the Bullets, though. Him and Javon Howard were both great on the Bullets.
No one ever gets better on the Wizards. It's a rule. It's like a rule for the NBA. It's in the.
Well, yeah. Once they change it to the Wizards, the only one who's done anything on that team has been Agent Zero.
And that was by accident.
Yeah, he's literally the best Wizard ever.
No, he's not. Michael Jordan, the GOAT himself, by some people's admission, got worse when he just putting that joint on. It didn't matter.
That wasn't the.
It didn't matter if he was 30. If he was 31 and he put that jersey on, he's averaging 10 less.
Is it like one of those you put on a certain armor and it waving stats or whatever?
Just removed all the stats.
All the smoking just happened to catch up with Jordan as soon as he put on that Wizards jersey.
Yeah.
Tonight was a whiskey night, wasn't it? Yeah, you go about 15 points tonight.
Yeah, now that I think about it, that is around the time that Jordan's eyes started turning yellow.
Fire,
right around that time, his eyes started turning yellow. So everybody,
you can't blame the man for self-medicating when you're losing.
Bad. He'd never been accustomed to losing like that since a rookie, basically. So, listen, ladies and gents, we appreciate you tuning in to our Takeoff Sports Talk segment today. We settled the score just like Bud Crawford did with Errol Spence. We'll see you again sooner than you think on a new edition of The Random. Peace.